Good morning. Thank you for tuning in to Franklin County Forage. Saturday morning, we're going to cut some hay. Gonna put some fuel in the white, get the disc bind hooked up. Let's juice this baby up. Oh, look, a little tree frog buddy. Better look out, bub. Hop off there. Come on. There you go. Now, hold on. Gotta get my stop out. Oh, voila. Kool-Aid. All right. Get my tools in the PTO shaft while that's filling up. Gotta hurry though, because it's not an auto kick out, so it'll just pump until the tank's empty if I don't watch it. If you know anything about them, you know why I don't have an auto kick out one. They don't just give those things away. There we go. I'm gonna wait though until it's full to start changing that PTO shaft, because I don't want to get caught up and overflow. So just take a couple minutes, we'll have her full. All right, just hop down here and shut the pump off. I like to shut the pump off rather than just letting the lever go, because I don't know what it is, but it seems like if you leave the hose full of fuel with a little bit of pressure on it and it heats up on a hot day, it'll push it out the nozzle. And we're full enough, so we're gonna call it quits. I put almost 43.5 gallons in, so that's pretty good. All right, guys, change the PTO shaft out, disc bind hooked up, cut some hay. Guys, gonna give you the lowdown. It's been raining here. I've been out of town most of this week. This is Saturday, which I already told you guys. Oil's good. So, like I said, this is Saturday morning. They're calling, it's like a 50% chance of rain this afternoon, this evening. So, taking a little bit of a chance, but not a huge chance, because if it does rain on it today, it's not going to hurt it. We're going to see how wet it is out in the field. I mean, I'm not worried about how wet the grass is. I'm worried about ground moisture. There's one or two low spots I'm particularly concerned with. But we're going to see what it looks like. If it's really wet and I'm tracking it up, I'm not going to cut. But I want to go ahead and get it laying on the ground, get as much drying time as possible. You know, tomorrow's Sunday. I'd rather not have to cut on Sunday. Just turns into an ordeal going to church and everything. And I try not to do work that I don't have to do on Sunday anyways. Bada bing, bada boom. right here, out of the way. Bam. Now the bad thing is, it's pretty stinking humid because it's been raining so much, and now it's really hot. The air has absorbed a lot of moisture from all the rain we've had, so it's not actually the greatest drying conditions, even though it's the hottest days that we've had so far of the year. It's in the 90s, but it's really humid, so we'll see how it dries. We're gonna go try it, and hopefully the ground's not too wet. Like I said, chance of rain tonight, clear through the week. There's a 30% chance of rain next Friday. Hopefully I won't get into that. Never know with our weather around here. I mean, it might dry down to a point where it just won't dry anymore, and that'll be the time to have my applicator system flushed out and ready to go, which I have not had a chance to do. So, all right guys, there she is. She's a beaut. We're driving around that first field that I cut. I ended up having a round bale, the new orchard grass planting. It's looking pretty decent. The heat is probably putting a hurt on it more than anything, and I do need to put some fertilizer on it. I just haven't done that. I've been waiting until I cut this backfield, and so once I get this hay off this, I'm going to put fertilizer on everything. Just a little wet in some areas. Alright, we're going to look at this ground here a little bit. It definitely seems wet. And the orchard grass, like I said, is very stressed. I honestly think that it's mostly from, I think it's from my spray, from when I sprayed. And then the stuff that got a lot of nitrogen put on it, you see the strips from the fertilizer buggy, it pulled through that stress a little bit better than this stuff. So we're going to get this cut off, and it is clean. I mean, there's no weeds or anything out here, so that's good. We're going to get it cut off, get some nitrogen and a little bit of potash and stuff on it, and hope for some more rain. The worst thing is, when you get a late first cutting, your second cutting ain't worth a hoot, because orchard grass, timothy, those really common grass hays are all cool season grasses. So once it gets up, you know, if you're into the 90s pretty well constant, they're going to go dormant, and you're not going to get much growth until the fall. Well, and for us, once you start getting that fall growth, it's almost the end of the season, so you don't get much more there. That's why I really like to get my first cutting off early to mid-May if I can. I know it's wetter then, it's harder to get dry, but you at least get a good second cutting. Right now, this ain't gonna make much, and it's probably gonna be a pretty weak second cutting because of how hot it is. So it is what it is. Let's get cutting. We'll see what the ground looks like on down here. Got a low spot right down here. That's probably the one I'm most concerned about. I mean, I think out here on the ridge, I'm pretty sure it's going to be good. But time will tell. Let's roll. You can see where it's a little bit wet there along the woods. Hopefully it's not like that out in the field. As you can see, it's extremely thin here. I went around my wet spot and I still almost got stuck. So what I'm going to do, this up here on the ridge I'm sure is good. I'm going to cut this on the ridge so it can be drying because it's a lot thicker. This is my established part of the field that I left. And I'm going to leave this here for the ground to dry some. Because I'm not running through that. That's just crazy. So I'm gonna cut this, and then I'm gonna wait on the rest of this until it dries out some. It is what it is. I think it'll dry, as thin as this is out here, I think it'll dry okay. So we'll be all right. Got the part I know I can get done. I'm gonna check over here, see if there's any other areas that I can cut that make sense, and I'm not having to dodge a bunch of wet spots and everything. What she looks like. It smells incredible. Pretty good sized windrows. I've heard some people say that, you know, driving on the hay doesn't slow down the drying process. And, you know, that may be true in some areas. Here, that is not true. Even up here where it's dry, it's not dry, it's solid. It's solid enough to drive on. Look at how much moisture is in the ground. I push on it, and I can see moisture coming up out of the ground is very moist. So for instance, the reason I windrow it like this area here gets full sunlight, no ground cover, it's gonna dry really quick. If I were to spread this whole windrow out, yes, there'd be more hay on top to dry, but the hay underneath would never dry. So I windrow it. It lets the top of the windrow dry, lets the ground dry, and then whenever I ted it, there's a lot more ground that is dry. That's not that hay isn't soaking moisture up from the ground. The other thing is I don't like to drive on it, because whenever you drive on it, you take a nice fluffy windrow like this that air can get through and everything, and you smash it down like this spot right here where I drove over it with the tractor. Air cannot get under that. Once you pack that down to the ground, especially when it's wet, that stuff stays down until you run through with a tedder or a rake and get it up off there. I can tell you for a fact, first-hand experience, the ends, even when you're not next to a woods, always dry slower. And the reason is, that's where you drive on your windrow. When you turn around at the end, I could take a spot like this right here, and this is actually pretty thin. You can see where I drove on it right here, drove on it right here. And if I did not ted this, or even if I do ted it, if I waited long enough for all this to be dry, whenever you flip this up, everywhere you drove on it will be green, green, green. Green as the day you cut it down underneath. Period. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's just the way it is. I'm gonna walk down here, a couple of low spots down here, see how wet they are. It's all fairly dry over here, that end towards the tractor. Probably right in the corner, there's usually a spot there that holds a little bit of water. From this big dead tree right here, that way is all too wet. There's actually some water standing down there. So what I think I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this, but I'm not gonna cut all the way to the corner. We're just gonna come up right here. honestly, we generally don't have this much trouble with being this wet this time of year. I mean, it's June 12th, and I almost got stuck right down there. Water standing here, water standing down there. Basically, any low spot's got water standing in it. I'm not cutting anymore. As thin as all this here is, that should dry fairly quick. Probably gonna come back out, say Monday, and we'll finish cutting this. I think Dad was gonna try to hook his mower up and cut some too. Oh man, I am so frustrated with myself for cutting those ruts over there. I knew it was gonna be wet. I should have got out and walked it, and I would have realized how wet it really was. Just didn't realize it was that wet. At least this part of the field is going to yield really good. It always does. This is year number 5 for this part of the field. And, but being up on the ridge is what makes it last. Those low spots, that stuff dies out, and it just doesn't last. All right, I'm going to get off and check out this wet spot here. So you can see where I cut right up there, and I knew that this down here would be wet, so I tried to go out around it, but it's all wet. Water standing here. If I can get through here. I mean, even here where I didn't cut ruts, I still tracked it up. I don't want to do that. Right here's I mean, I say almost got stuck. I mean, it's not like I had to work at it to get through, but I didn't want to stop. I think if I would have stopped right here and tried to back out, I would have had trouble. This being a new planting really makes it worse. Heck, there's water standing all the way out here. Look at this. Water, water, water standing, water standing, water standing, water standing, water standing. Yeah, I ain't cutting this. We're headed down the road, taking a little road trip over to Missouri. Going to look at a grapple. So, see how that turns out. But, so I'll let you guys know. I'll catch up with you. Get there and look at it and see what we think about it. Hopefully, we'll be using that to put up some hay this year, along with the squeeze. So, we'll see. Wish me luck. Never fails, we got some traffic somewhere along the line every time. Looks like a truck and a camper. And a boat. Yikes. Ooh, a truck with a fifth wheel camper pulling a boat. Stirring the dust. Man, there's a freaking sweet bed right here, guys. You know that feeling you get when you're going to look at something to buy and you pull in and you're like, I'm not sure. I can't even find the grapple, so I don't know. So I'm gonna look at it. I'm waiting for the guy. He said he's bringing a forklift with him. But I could tell in the pictures where it was. It's not sitting where it was in the pictures, so I don't know where it's at right now. See, this guy's got one of these junkers here. Befco. This is an 8-wheel. If you have a Befco and you like it, I'm sorry. I don't mean any offense. It's just our Befco is a piece of junk. Got a stacker wagon back here. Look at that. Probably a, I don't know, 1033 or something of the sort. Try to make sure, watch where I step. Make sure I don't step on a copperhead or something out here. No, it's a 3-wide machine. Thought maybe the grapple would be back here somewhere, but I don't see it. May just have to wait for him to get here. Some orchard grass growing back here. Oh, he's pulling in. All right, guys, I found it. Grass grew up around it. Couldn't see it. So, he's gonna get the forklift and get it picked up here. But it's a Steffens. It's actually built for picking up groups of 15. So 5 on edge, 3 deep. But I think I can pick up my 2 with this. And when I get a bunch of stacks together, I'll go ahead and pick up 15 too at a time. You know, out of the barn or off the trailer. It does seem to be in pretty good shape. I'm sure it doesn't look it from here, but you know, we'll see when we get it up. And man, this road is freaking loud. I'm glad I don't live right on a big highway like this. You don't realize how loud it is when you're driving. We got her. I think it'll work all right. Just need to grease it real good. Get a skid steer quick attach mounted on it. He had it just on the pinned on a loader on a tractor, so I'm gonna put the quick attach on it. And I need to do something about the second cylinder, so I'll probably end up putting a solenoid operated splitter valve on there. That's my plan. Made it home. I got the trailer unhooked. The grapple's still on it. It's unchained, but the skid steer is blocked in by the drill back there, and I didn't feel like unhooking stuff, shuffling stuff around and getting that just to get it off. So we'll probably do that sometime tomorrow maybe. I went ahead and straightened out the arms on the squeeze. So I'll show you that here. And here they are. Straight as an arrow. I mean, I don't know about that, but you can see it bent right where I had this gusset welded in here. So I straightened it, straightened both sides. We are back to where we started from, which is good. My plan for reinforcing is I've actually got some of this 4x1/2 inch bar stock left. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a piece of it, I'm gonna lay it inside, on the inside of this. And now you might be thinking, okay, he's gonna lay it like this as a gusset, but I'm gonna lay it up straight up like this. I'm going to space it out this way as far as I can. So I'm actually going to tie it in over here, just on top of this gusset that I welded in here. And I'm going to lay it straight with that there. We're going to lay it out here. And I'm going to put some pieces ever so often in here to space that piece out. That's going to be stronger than just putting in a gusset. Sometime we can get into the engineering of that. But basically, it's going to act like the flange of a wide flange beam or an I-beam. If you lay it like a gusset, it acts as the web of an I-beam, and the web of an I-beam is not where the strength of an I-beam is. The web only keeps the flanges from getting all wonky. The flange is what the strength was, where your strength comes from in an I-beam. So this is basically going to be like a flange. Have an outer flange and an inner flange. I think that'll be plenty of strength. I thought about doing that before I even started. Probably should have, but I really wanted to just see how well this worked. Now, whenever I go to build this, the next version, I think, I'm just going to try to get a set of forks lay those forks up on edge, weld a piece of angle iron on the bottom of them. I think that'll be perfect because they're already designed for that type of force. So, but this is what I had. This is what we used. I think it proved the concept. It will work, but the main thing is I got to have enough strength here. I knew, but sometimes real world data is better than thinking I had it and then going ahead and adding something to it. Maybe I didn't need that, but so we got that straightened out. I gotta get the other pieces cut and ready to weld. I've also have to get a skid steer quick attach plate for the Grapple, and we'll discuss that when the time comes. But the guy that had it just pinned it on his loader, so we're gonna get a quick attach so I can hook up to it. I'm also going to get a splitter valve that will allow me to run the 90-degree turn and the teeth, the Grapple part of it, on one control valve. So that'll make it a lot more versatile. So I put it on my skid steer or Dad's tractor or whatever. We're gonna have to do some modifying on Dad's tractor to get some third function hydraulics up to the loader. But other than that, I think it's gonna be really good. So I'm gonna pull the truck in here. I'm gonna go in and get cleaned up. I'm sweating. This was a hot day today. They actually had a heat advisory. We had heat index above 100, about 105. So it was toasty. Bad thing is, that's because of the humidity. So that's not necessarily great for drying, but it was sunny. We haven't gotten any rain yet, so that's good. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'll see you inside. Tomorrow, I'm gonna be going over and getting Steve's trailer from Welsh Farms because I got a surprise for you guys. Tune in on the next video to see what the surprise is. I'll give you a little hint. It's green. I do want to say thank you to everyone that has subscribed, everyone that's watching. You don't have to subscribe, but if you are interested in the videos I put out and you want to know when they come out, the best thing to do is subscribe. Also, I want to be releasing a video here letting you guys know who won the yield contest. Yes, we didn't get it all square baled, but I'm actually going to weigh a handful of round bales to get an average weight, and I'm going to equalize that with the square bales. So that's the way I'm going to do that. That's the first I know how to do it since it didn't work out like we wanted to. So hopefully that's okay with everybody, and I'll let you guys know who won. Thanks. God bless you. God bless America. Franklin County Forage out.